And welcome back, everyone. This is the second video in functions, and this one is we're going to take a word problem, and now we're going to generate a table from this in order to make more sense of the problem and generate the function from there, okay? So the last video we talked about the structure, and the structure of that problem, again, was that rate times our variable plus our constant was equal to our total, okay? So that's one way that we could generate a function from a word problem. It's following that structure, that general structure, okay? Now here's another one where I'm going to use a table, and I'm going to kind of cross into a little bit of scientific practices here, okay? So we have these two variables in science, actually speaking here. We have B and we have M, okay? B standing for the total books read, and M representing the months, okay? So what I'm going to create is I'm actually going to create a table here. You can create a table of values to show this relationship, okay? Now, when I said I'm going to talk about science, I want to talk about this with our scientific practices between two variables. One of these, known as the independent variable, the other one, the dependent variable, okay? Oh, if I can spell, okay? So we have the independent and dependent variable. There we go, much better. Now, what we know the independent variable is, that's the variable that can change as is. It doesn't matter what that variable is, and that independent variable will represent my x value. And that would be the value that comes on this left side. The dependent variable is determined by the function and whatever you insert for your x value. Dependent would be this one over here on the right, okay? So using that, we're going to create a table of values based off of this word problem. Now, some of these are really simple if we know some things about functions. Some of these will come right out and say, right in terms of x and f of x, which that's pretty simple. We know that x and f of x would come in that same format, similar to what we have with x and y. We talked about that in prior lessons, okay? So some of these are very straightforward, or they may have it as, instead of x and f of x, they may change that to say, all right, we have d and the function of d, okay? It would be the same format there, okay? D would come in that left column, the function of d values will come in the right column, okay? So let's see what's happening here, all right? We're gonna figure out what we have with our variables. Now here they told us with total books read and the number of months, okay? So right now he already read one book this year before joining the book club. He plans to read 3 books for every month, okay? So this right now, I can figure out if he already read one book. Over here, I would place my books, B, in the dependent column. Why I know that is because this 0 right here actually makes a difference. This 0 represents the number of months that he is reading books. So if he had 0 months of reading in his plan, he would have already read one book. Okay, so that's how I'm determining that months is actually the independent variable. And then I could keep going. So then I would say, all right, after 1 month, then how many total books would he have read? Well, he's reading 3 books per month, which means I would take the 3 and then add it to 1 to make it 4. After 2 months, it would have been 3 plus 4 is 7. After 3 months, 7 plus 3 is 10. Okay, so that is creating my table of values, and now I can kind of start figuring out, all right, based on this, what's my rate? Well, my rate is actually right here. What am I adding every single time consistently for the number of books? I'm adding 3 for every 1 month. That's my rate. So I'm going to take that 3 and substitute it in for my rate, which means I have a 3 times my independent variable, 3 times m, 3 books per month. Now, how many books do we already read? The books we already read is right here, this 0, 1, okay? That would be plus 1, and then what is it equal to? It's going to be equal to our dependent variable, which in this case was the total number of books, B, okay? That's how we use a table of values to generate a function.